Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Those who are still outside, I would encourage you to come into the auditorium. Those who are already inside, we would encourage you to take your seats. Would like to welcome you all back to our final session. Just a few announcements before we get to the next segment. For those of us who heard about the UNICAF, the available scholarships that are there, if you're interested, please note that Douglas will be there at the back. Douglas, if you can see me, just raise your hand. That's where he will be. Once we are done, as people are going for the cocktail, he'll be available for a talk. Now, as we proceed to the rest of the program, firstly, I would like to thank you all for a wonderful, wonderful time we had these past 2 days. It was absolutely amazing serving each and every one of you. And to finish off the rest of this awesome conference that we've just had, I would like to just welcome Zimnat Live, the Zimnat Live, let me take that again, my apologies. There we go. The Zimnat Life Actuarial Service Manager and the ASZ Treasurer. Let's welcome Blessing Tauzeni.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed. I would like to acknowledge my president, Mr. Shiduza, and in absentia, our president-elect, Prosper Matiashe, and also acknowledge our council members and the speakers, invited guests, and our sponsors, and the members of ASZ. My job is very simple. I'm just going to thank you all for making this convention a success. I'll just like to reiterate that our society is still growing. We can tell by the number of qualified actuaries that are there, me included. Thank you. I know it's not a very easy journey, but even if you are writing your first exam, I've been there. So you also be at the finishing line. I also like to encourage you to keep on developing, especially in your areas of influence, your employees. I know they are looking up to you as the financial experts for our nation, and we'll continue reaching out even to the government and to other key stakeholders to make sure that we provide the excellent financial services that we are taught as we pursue our careers. The second thing that I would just like to conscientize you of is our upcoming events. We're going to have a golf day, and I know our sponsors are going to be with us, and you also participate. For those who would like to have fun, we're going to have a color fun run, and we also have a half marathon for those of us who like to race. And we also have Africa coming up. There's been communication that's going around on how you can register and also attend. I also like to extend my gratitude to the sponsors. They have really made my work easy as a treasurer. I've been there running around asking for monies, and they've given me the monies. So our sponsors this year on the platinum category, we have All Mutual. If you could give a round of applause for All Mutual. Thank you so much, All Mutual, for supporting us. And on the gold category, we've got Insight Actuaries and Consultants headed by Masimba. I'd like to extend our gratitude. If you could also give them a round of applause. Still under the gold, we have got First Mutual Holdings, and we would like to acknowledge them for the sponsorship that they've handed to us. If you could also acknowledge them. Under the silver category, we've got African Actuarial Consultants as well as NASA. Please acknowledge them for the work that they've given us. And then under the bronze category, we've got Zimbabwe Actuarial Consultants, ZAC. We've got CBZ Holdings. We've got Murerio Actuarial Outsourcing Services, Independent Actuarial Consultants, Clarkson Actuaries, Unicaf, Econet Life, and we also have Gerald Chimbwa. If you could also extend your gratitude to them. I'd also like to acknowledge our speakers who have made our 2 days very eventful. I'll start off by acknowledging my president once again, Mr. Tafazo Chiduza, for giving us the presidential address yesterday. We also had Farai Gwaka, who gave us the state of the economy. There also was Miss Lillian Chipunza, who was presenting on innovative product design strategies in a rapidly changing environment. We also had Mike Gondo, who was presenting on actuaries and innovation. And we had Farai Mbumbwa, who presented on health. We also had Christopher Rudzuna, who presented on the paradox of virtue. Tinashe Mashoko on ZCAP, Pelagia Kafesa on Zim mortality study. And we also had an IFRI 17 panel, which had Tawanda Chituku, Charity Mtwazi, Anes Udaka, Albert Jakara, and we had Andre Bogdanov, who presented on sustainability investments. And lastly, we had Shadrach Mapumo, who presented on index-based insurance. I would like to extend my gratitude to all the speakers. It would haven't been a convention if you hadn't presented or spearheaded the discussions that we had. Thank you very much. A round of applause for our speakers. I'd also like to thank our invited guests. We had Sandra Musevenzo, who's the ZAPF Secretary General, Mavukeni Rafai, who's the LOA Secretary General, and we had Masimba Mareverwa, who's the Insights Actuaries Head of Business Development, and we also had Silet Shanyama, who is the AFOS CEO, who joined virtually, and from our universities, who are then spearheading the growth of our industry. We've got from UZ, we had Dr. Garakana Gwasira, and we also had Mr. Edwin Demera. From NAS, we had Mr. Nobel Malunguza, who joined virtually, and we also had Dr. Majuona, who joined physically. From the Chino University of Technology, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Mwakutuya and Mr. Dube, who were representing the universities. We also had representation from the North American chapter, who joined virtually. I would like to extend my gratitude to all the guests who came and made this event a successful. A round of applause for the guests. I would like to also extend our gratitude to the senior actuaries and executives who were also present in our midst. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Oto, Ms. Kafesu, Mr. Mreriwa, Ms. Magorimbo, Ms. Makwanya, Ms. Feani, Mr. Mashoko, Mr. Jawa, Mr. Mzengi, Mr. Saopa, and Mr. Chadambuka from Zimnat Life. I would like to extend a gratitude to them. In the end, I'll also like to extend my gratitude to our service providers. You know, after all the running around, there's still people who will be running around for you, and I would like to thank them. First, I would like to thank our first female MC for the convention, Tutsi Jenje. Thank you for the great work that you did for us. And I would also like to extend gratitude to the people who were handling the media. There's Vic Strom, and there's Hub 19 who were handling the interviews. And then I would like to also thank the Cresta people. I think we had a good time. The food that they served was delicious, and it was on time. So I would like to extend my gratitude to them as well. And I would like to thank the team that I was working with behind the scenes. You know, our society is driven by volunteers. I also volunteer. And I'm hoping that most people are going to come forward and volunteer. It's not very difficult. You know, even if you volunteer an hour for a week, it will go a long way in building our profession. If you talk to our senior actuaries, they'll tell you that because of their voluntary work, we are here. So if you also come, to even drive it even further from where we are. So I would like to thank the volunteers who were behind the scenes. First, I would like to thank the events committee that was led by Ms. Lynette Tasaranaro. Thank you very much for your leadership. It was my first time to be in the planning committee, and with your guidance, it wasn't very difficult. I knew I just had to make sure my wallet is fat enough. So, so when there's a call, I just say, no, I can pay. So thank you very much, madam. I also like to acknowledge the following. God knows Musho Nyongora, Perkins Tubute, Joshua Mhlanga, Lisa Mirisau, Maria Chipanera, Nyasha Dliwayo, Tinashe Chikwamba, Taurai Jamu, Ruth Musandu, Otilia Maposa, Natasha Mukonga, and Stephen Madubeko. Those were the people who made this program a success. So a round of applause for them. There was a separate committee that was putting around the speakers who would come and speak to us, who would probe our minds, who would engage us, who would answer our questions in the key areas that we're facing as a profession. And there's a committee that was behind that. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Program Development Committee that was chaired by Taurai Jamu. And the other members that were present were Ms. Lorraine Makwanya, Mr. Blessing Bukude, and Ms. Ruth Musandu. A round of applause for them. Last but not least, I would like to thank our ushers. When you get to a new place, you don't know where to go. But I believe the ushers made it easier for you. You know that you had to use that entrance and you had to come through. They directed you when it was lunch. You knew where you had to go for your lunch, for your tea breaks. And even if you just needed a break, they would just direct you where to go. I'd like to extend my gratitude to the ushers. They were from different companies and universities. So my extension of gratitude will go to the parents, or rather the people from whom the ushers came from. I'll just extend my gratitude to the universities. That's where most of our ushers came from. The University of Zimbabwe, the National University of Science and Technology, and we also had companies that gave us people who were running around. And I would like to acknowledge them as well, the likes of Zimnat and ZB Life. So a round of applause for our ushers. I would like to take this opportunity to also honor some few individuals who were exceptional. First, in the educational category, those people who passed their exams exceptionally above others, and also in the volunteer section. So I'll ask Ms. Nyarai Manyenga to come and assist me to give the awards for the education section. A round of applause as she comes up.
Okay, afternoon everyone. So I will just start by calling the names for those students who performed exceptionally for the September 2022 exams. So we are awarding, the first category we are awarding for the higher subjects. There is one person, and then for the lower subjects, those who attained passes in 2 or more subjects. So I'll start by calling forward Stanford Mabika. And then Tafara Moyo. And the next person is Carlos Tizirai. The next person is Simon Elan. The next person is Maria Chipanera.
Those are the winners for the education section. Thank you, Nyari. I'll go to the last section, which is the volunteer awards. I would like to acknowledge Maria Chipanera. She has done an exceptional job in helping us make sure that this program is a success, as well as other programs that we have hosted as AZ. Help me well. Thank you, Mr. President. I would also like to acknowledge God knows Nyamusho Nyongora. So there were a lot of good comments that were going around about our digital material that was going on the convention. And the man behind this is Tinashe Chikwamba. I'd like to acknowledge him for the great work that he's done. So the last person that we're going to acknowledge has been very influential for us. She's also volunteering as our administrator. Most of you send emails to the administrator and you don't know the face to the administrator. We're going to acknowledge her so that you can also see her. And when you see her, just say thank you for all the running around that she does. We are going to acknowledge Natasha Munkonjga. I know you can do better than that. Thank you, President. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming through to the convention and making this a reality. As we finish off, we're going to network during the cocktail. I know I'm one of the people who used to be very shy. When it was cocktail time, I'll be running home to hide behind my notes and pretend that everything is fine. But when you then get to levels like where I am, your network will determine your height. So just network, meet people that you haven't talked to, get to know them better, talk to your future employers, talk to your future partners for those that are not married yet. So our cocktail will commence at 5 and it will go on until you drop. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Just a quick one, ladies and gentlemen. We can't go without also just appreciating Blessing. So the team wanted to appreciate her. Let's put our hands together for her. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure being with you. May you enjoy the rest of your evening and the cocktails. I'm Tutsirai Jenje, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you.